flagship car. BMW had long been known and appreciated for its classically designed ultra-nimble and speedy vehicles. Chief designer Chris Bangle, though, with the 7 Series and 2003 Z4 Roadster, introduced the start of a more avant-garde palette. The definition of avant-garde, of course, begs that not everyone will agree that the designs are good. But the sometimes caustic and withering criticism of the two models by the most influential motoring magazines in the world and many of BMW's devoted customers was very different from the usual majority opinion that BMW can do no wrong when it comes to sports sedans and performance cars. The 7 Series came first, ominously shown to the public for the first time at the Frankfurt Motor Show on September 11, 2001. BMW's new flagship received some of the most scathing commentary the auto industry has witnessed in 20 years. Only the impossibly ugly and gangly Pontiac Aztek sport utility vehicle from General Motors received as much, or perhaps more, derision from auto journalists in the previous 5 years. The vitriol against Bangle about these models had been so pointed that Automobile magazine, in its July 2003 issue heralding the 5 Series, suggested it had been hit with the Bangle stick, a not too subtle play on ugly stick. Many a barb about a poorly designed car or unattractive person includes a remark about having been hit with an ugly stick. Critics lambasted the 7 Series' bulky tail end, fussy front fascia, and often confounding electronic iDrive. The iDrive is a computer mouse-like gizmo in the center console that is meant to help the driver control more than 700 functions of the car, from air conditioners to a navigation system, though it made tuning the radio a chore in need of the owner's manual. Then came the 7.4 a year later at the Paris Motor Show. The rear spoiler integrated into the trunk of the Z4 Roadster was compared by many writers to a duck's bill, not a typically desirable metaphor for what is supposed to be a serious open-air performance sports car. The side sheet metal of the Z4 carries eye-catching lines and creases that reflect Bangle's notion that a car should have lines and shapes found in nature, such as flames and wind-blown wheat fields, rather than just pleasant geometry. The aesthetic was lost on most, and too startling for a lot of BMW admirers and journalists. The 7 Series and Z4, by Bangle's own admission, represented bookends of his new design scheme, the outer limits of what he thinks is correct for the new design direction at BMW. The 5 Series and 3 Series, which carry more than half of BMW's global sales volume and profit, he has long said, would look like logical progressions from these cars, but not as radical. Still, the anticipation of the 5 Series had been building, especially among those who have long loved BMW's classic, practically timeless designs but dislike Bangle's new, more fashionable direction. To be fair to Bangle, it is often lost in the scalding criticisms of the new designs that BMW's management board, the Vorstand, made up today of 6 men, vote on and finally approve a design after at least 3 are presented to them in full-size clay form. One of those designs presented for each model continues to be a conservative design option, very much a stepped evolution from the classic designs that made BMW successful in the 1980s and 1990s. Yes, Bangle is leading the new design direction at BMW, but he gets his power and approval from a group of men who could have chosen more evolutionary, conservative, and safe styles for the 7 Series and Z4 instead of Bangle's avant-garde choices. Dr. Burkhard Gerschel has been the management board member in charge of product development since 2000 and is thus Bangle's boss and advocate on the Vorstand. For reasons unclear to many, he has not received nearly as much hate mail or criticism from the motor press as Bangle. There was a feeling among BMW followers and journalists that maybe the cooler-than-expected reception of the 7 Series and Z4 prompted some late changes to the 5 Series, that somehow BMW would decide to cool things down a bit and